He went to centre half forward. Oh! Filer puts the afterburners on, steps around from about 45. And he's kicked it, has he? Yes, he has!
Hello and welcome to AFL Central Victoria TV. On this edition, we'll preview a big Bendigo Football Netball League Grand Final day. We'll chat with each of the competing senior football teams' coaches and captains. At Sandhurst, it'll be Brett Fitzpatrick and Blair Holmes. And at Strathfield, say, Darrell Wilson and Shannon Geary. Let's bounce the ball. Our first guest on AFL Central Victoria TV, we're at the QEO with the Sandhurst coach, Brett Fitzpatrick. Welcome to AFL Central Victoria, Brett.
Thanks, Travis.
You've made the grand final in your first year at Sandhurst. Did you think you had the list that could take you all the way when you first signed on?
Not necessarily, but having seen the side play last year, I was quite impressed with what they had, and with the inclusion of one or two others this year, there's always a possibility. We've had a pretty good run with injuries through the bulk of the year until the week just gone. But generally, I'm pleasantly surprised, but not shocked that we're there.
You spoke of the injuries, of course. Dual Mickelson medal winner Tim Martin has an ankle concern and Nick Stagg a shoulder. What are the chances of both of the lads, and what would be the contingency if you were to go in without your number one ruckman?
We'll give both guys as long as we can to be available. It doesn't look likely at this stage, and it's probably just doing it for the sake of giving them the option. But without Tim, we'll have to look at playing something a little bit different to what we have, because of his dominance for both us and against the opposition sides throughout the year has been wonderful. But we'll be more reliant across our midfield and such then if we're to go in a game without Tim.
I guess Matt Thornton's probably an option to go into the ruck, which might even make the influence of Ryan Haythorpe in the front half significant. Was able to kick 5 goals when he returned from injury last week, so you look to him in the front half?
Absolutely, he was fantastic on Saturday evening. Leads well, kicked magnificently from long distances. Maybe the freshen up of a few weeks off has worked well for him. So that could be an option. We'll just have to wait and see. Thornton's been very valuable to us, both in the back end and up front as well. So it would be disappointing to have to sacrifice him for what he's offered the club around either end of the ground so far this season if he's in the ruck. So we'll see what happens.
Storm had the better of you in the second semi-final. Will there be a big shift in the way you went about it, or is it more about backing your boys to do what they've done so well the rest of the season?
There'll be a little shift in how we go about things. Primarily backing them to achieve or put in place what they've done for the bulk of the season. I think it's down to who is going to be the tougher side mentally on the day, and applies that mental pressure throughout the game. The longest will probably win.
You've been able to sign on for next year. The bulk of your list is still pretty young. Will you look to add much in the off-season?
There's always opportunities to add more, and we lack in the league some really good big men in key positions. So if anyone can get their hands on those sort of players, they'll certainly have a benefit over some of the opposition sides. So they're always an opportunity, and you just don't know what comes. Our thirds have been very successful now for 5 years, having played off in consecutive grand finals and won the last 4. There should be a number of depths coming out of that as well to continue.
You mentioned the thirds, of course. Tom Broadbent won the Simons Medal at the weekend and played senior football in the preliminary final. Will he play senior football more likely than the under-18s grand final?
He's between a rock and a hard place there. He's pretty passionate about the 18s, and given that he's captain as well, his effort on the weekend was fantastic for us as well. So again, that'll be discussed at selection, and we'll have to try and be fair to certain guys in those circumstances, but we'll be picking the best side to win.
Who's the key to stop for the Strathfield Say Storm in your eyes?
That little bloke that plays up forward goes all right.
Number 3?
Yeah, he's pretty handy, but the's also, he's got some great assistance around the midfield when they carry the ball forward. I think Dowd was pretty strong for them last time on the wing against us. So I don't know. I think there's any number of guys that you have to give a fair bit of respect to, and it'll just be up to our guys, whoever opposes those blokes, to be mentally tougher than them.
Thanks for your time on AFL Central Victoria, Brett, and best of luck come Saturday.
Thanks, Travis. Cheers.
We're at the QEO for AFL Central Victoria TV. And our next guest is the captain of the Sandhurst Football Club, Blair Holmes. Thanks for joining us, Blair.
Thanks, Trav. Thanks, mate.
Must be really satisfying after making the decision a little while back to concentrate on your club footy to be leading the boys into a grand final on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I spent 3 years on the Bendigo Bombers list, and it was probably the best thing I've done for my experience and for playing further footy and playing the best footy I can. It was fun when I was there, but Sandhurst has always been my home, and coming back and finally getting the chance to play in a grand final and being captain is a great honour. And yeah, we go in our club rooms. This is 153 years old, and you see a lot of premiership captains and that's something that you want to inspire with to be. So it's a good privilege, and it's great to be around the home club.
Heart-stopping preliminary final win over Gisborne at the weekend. What's the feeling been like around the club, and how's Mitch Dole handled it?
Yeah, no, it's been good. It was a big sigh of relief when the final siren went there, and when Mitch kicked the winning goal. But it was everyone was wrapped, and to have 3 sides, our thirds and reserves and seniors in this weekend is a big benefit, and everyone around the club is wrapped, and yeah, we sort of forgot about that game, except Mitch. He's reliving the goal and the moment, but no, we're sort of moved on now, and everything's focused on this week. So,
what's the captain's message for the week on the track? The boys training hard behind us here, and then again Thursday, and then again on game day.
Yeah, no, it's just basically what we've been doing all year. We're not going anything out of the ordinary. Trying to keep this week as normal structured as we can, as possible. So yeah, with a sort of train lightly this week with a hard game on the last weekend with the preliminary final. So we're just basically more recovery. You're not going to get any fitness or any different structures out of 1 or 2 nights. So we're just train as normal and leading to the weekend. As a captain, I'll just basically be telling the boys to play our style of footy and follow our structures that Fitzy gives us, and hopefully with that we can come over the win.
Strathfield say Storm, like yourselves, bat pretty deep in the midfield. Who do you usually match up on?
Yeah, I've had a couple of different people during the time. Probably Matt Johnson's probably my sort of similar strength and size around the contest. So I usually go with him. We'll have a couple of different people that we'll run with, different people during the day. But yeah, we'll just sort of focus on our style and our game first. And we believe if we can play our style of football and do it for 4 quarters, we can come away with it. So.
It's been 10 years for the Dragons. You mentioned the wonderful history in there. There's a couple of older fellas from around the club keeping their eye on training. Are they having a word in your ear to make sure that you get the win on Saturday?
Not so much. They've come over. There's a bit of support that they'll give us over the week, but mainly a few people have come in and given their opinion and a few different ideas that we can bring. But they're mainly just congratulating us and hoping for the best. And they've given a few stories from back in the old days and their last premiership that we won. So yeah, it's exciting, and we'll take it all in.
Who will you look to have a big hand for Sandhurst if you're to get the win on Saturday?
Yeah, mainly it's probably our midfield. We've got to get on top of the midfield and clearances. We believe if we can win around the clearances and stop their supply going forward, we can go a long way winning. Also, it's probably our forward line. This year we've sort of had a lot of games we've kicked a lot of points. So it's our accuracy this week. So if we can kick straight, get confidence out of that, and play well and kick between the two big sticks, we think we can it will work a long way for us.
Congratulations on a fine season, and best of luck in the grand final on Saturday.
Thanks, Trav. Thanks, mate.
On AFL Central Victoria TV, we're at Flight Centre Park with Strathfield Say Storm coach Darrell Wilson. Thanks for joining us, Darrell.
Good evening, Trev. Yeah, thanks for coming out.
A week off after the semi-final win. How did you guys approach having the week off?
It was great to have the week off. Last year we obviously had to play, so we trained Saturday. We did a full match simulation session and beefed it up in the last 20 minutes. So the boys had a really hefty game, and then we did some full recovery. So it's been good little time for the boys to freshen up. But haven't gone soft on them. We did a bit of work on Saturday in the heat.
Yeah. A few boys battling injury, namely Jaden Donaldson, Tom Bartholomew and Nick Smith. How are each of these 3 boys doing, and what's the approach with them this week, and what sort of chance are they?
Look, Nick Smith's ruled out tonight only a couple of minutes ago, as I said off air, and it's devastating for him. He's got to have a total knee reconstruction. There was a bit of a hope that he might get up, so Nick's out. Better news on the other two boys. Jaden Donaldson's hamstring has come good. There's a bit of a story around it was his knee. I'm not sure where the hell that come from, but
A misquote somewhere.
I think it might have been Richard Jones accidentally got that one wrong. But look, he's trained and his hamstring's very, very good. So Tom will train again tonight, so he'll be absolutely right for selection. And Tom Bartholomew is PCL injury and trained on Saturday very well, and he'll train Thursday night, and he'll be up for selection on Thursday night as well.
Is Nick a 12 months sort of injury?
Look, he'll be reconstructed by Julian Feller, and he's told him it'll be a 10-month. So the likelihood is that he could be back for next year's final series, if we were lucky to make the finals the following year. But he's got a little bit of a road ahead. But look, he'll be motivated by that. He's devastated at the moment, but it's the fourth one for the year, so the four boys will be able to work together to get themselves right for next year.
Best of luck to all those boys that are recovering off those knees. Spirit around the place high. We've got the preparations well and truly going on behind us. Apart from having to come through the preliminary final last year, as you spoke about, has the build-up still been pretty similar?
Reasonably similar. We've actually probably gone a little bit harder on this year in our training. We've done a lot of match simulation, as I pointed out before, and I think that's all been good for our game sense and game decisions. So hopefully it's a good strategy. Our fitness coach, Mick Talbot, has been sensational with the group, and we've been very meticulous in trying to make sure that everyone's right. We've had some really poor run with injuries during the year, but we've got them all back at the end of the year. So hopefully our management's been sound and we can get everyone through. And we don't have the soft tissue injuries we had last year, where Shannon Geary and Cal Smith was injured. A couple other, and Lockie Sharp did his hamstring in the grand final. So we hope we don't have those issues this weekend.
No. Last year's loss, tell me about the days and the weeks after that and what sort of mindset this group placed themselves in to really build up this season and have another crack.
Oh, look, you can say it's probably used as motivation. I guess in some cases it is, but once that game's up, Trav, you can't do much about it. You just got to refocus and go again. And every club changes personnel and changes players, obviously, so you start again. And, I'm sure there's a little bit of that motivation there, but it's a fresh year against a new side coming into the grand final in Sandhurst, because Golden Square obviously are not there, so it's a little bit different for everybody. But, we've really looked forward to getting back, and, obviously it's a great time of the year to be playing. It's better to be playing than watching, so the boys are really keen to do well.
You actually might have the experience, I guess, over a few of the Sandhurst boys. Your guys had a look at a grand final last year against a side that had guys going for 3, 4 and 5 premierships. Now you've got a few guys that have been there, and they might have been able to learn a little bit last year.
Yeah, and we've certainly obviously picked up a couple of guys that have played at the highest level and played in big crowds in Milne and Bakes. So, they've had that experience. Bringing a couple of other guys into the side that have played in big games and played in a couple of flags. Sean Johns is one of those players. But, overall, I think the experience is great. I don't think it means much on game day. Last year I think we were a little bit overawed early, and our decision making and our skill errors were really, really awful. So hopefully they've learnt that they don't have to panic just because there's a big crowd around the outside of the ground. But time will tell. I thought they handled themselves very well in the second semi after probably about the 10-minute mark. So if we can get that back on and have that same sort of game sense on Saturday, it'd be great.
How many have you got to squeeze into 22 for Saturday?
Yeah, well, I've said this openly a few times. I went to Rushworth High School and I wasn't much of a student, and maths wasn't one of my fortes, but I worked out really early, even at school, that you can't fit 30 into 22, and we're all trying to do that. At the minute, I think we've probably got around about 25 to pick from. There'll be 3 very unlucky boys. Harry Crone and Fergus Payne, these guys that are young guys are obviously thereabouts in our squad and have trained fully. They're good backups in terms of ruck, but in Harry's case, and obviously Fergus in midfield. But we've probably got 25 that we could pick from, and a couple more that would really be handy on the game if we had to play them.
It's been an extraordinary climb for Storm, improvement in each year of the existence. You need to be winning the Bendigo Advertiser Cup on Saturday to improve from last year, obviously. What will that do for the identity of a club, still in its youth, as strong as it is?
Oh, look, I think it to be competitive against the other sides and the big teams in Bendigo, Golden Square and Sandhurst and Eaglehawk. Obviously, you've got to do well, and players will come to your clubs if you're doing well, and success is the key. And if you can get that premiership early, I'm sure that some people will come. I think it's also important for the community that if we're going to be in the competition that we get the township playing and being a part of it. So if we can get that and get some credibility, it'd be great start for the club. And look, it's done well, but we're probably sick of a little bit of that here and that, because now we're in the comp. We may as well have been around 100 and 200 years. So we're there now, and we just got to get one on the board, and it'd be great for the area.
Thanks for your time on AFL Central Victoria TV, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Trav.
Bendigo Football Netball League Grand Final Day should be a ripper. VFL AFL legend Stan Alves will be special guest of the league for the Grand Final breakfast, with a great day of football and netball to ensue. Apart from the senior clash between the Strathfield Say Storm and Sandhurst, the reserves football is Golden Square taking on Sandhurst. The under-18s footy is Sandhurst versus Gisborne. And in the netball, the A grade will be decided between Kangaroo Flat and Golden Square. The A reserve netball is Golden Square and Sandhurst. B grade netball between Kangaroo Flat and Kyneton. B reserve netball is Golden Square and South Bendigo. And the 17 and under netball, kicking off at 9 a.m, is Kangaroo Flat versus Sandhurst. This gives us 7 of the 10 clubs represented on Grand Final Day. Apart from the Bendigo Football Netball League Grand Final Day, it's also the North Central League Grand Final Day, taking place at the Witchy-proof Recreation Reserve on Saturday, with Wedderburn looking to continue their streak against Charlton. That's it for another edition of AFL Central Victoria TV. For all those playing in Grand Finals this weekend, best of luck.